Well, it's hard to say it's going to get more exciting, but I will cover several things that happened in artificial intelligence over the last 72 to 86 hours. Now, looking what's happening out there, we've been watching as we have some government intervention into Anthropic's model Fable 5. And if you remember, Anthropic, of course, runs Claude. And that particular system came out with a model a few weeks ago, and it was called Mythos. And Mythos was kind of the game changer for the whole game. And whether it was from a publicity stunt or not publicity stunt, Mythos was deemed to be probably one of the most incredible models ever developed. And pretty soon, our brains, it's going to escape us on all levels. But right now, we can still talk about incredible. But pretty soon, everything's going to be incredible. Everything's going to be the best. Everything's going to be, Starship level. Everything's going to be, Elon Musk's trillionaire kind of thing, the whole 9 yards. But for now, when Mythos came out, it kind of seemed to break everything because it was so amazing. In fact, it was so amazing that the government say, you normal people can't have this. So Anthropic, you need to pull this back, not give it to the regular folks, but you can go ahead and give it to the top financiers and business owners in the world, and banks. Banks are probably good. So, and us, give it to us too. So of course they did, and we have a little bit of history set. These models were given to the most profitable companies on the planet, and I guess they get to use it, and the regular people don't. But okay, maybe we're not responsible enough, I understand. So they get to use it, right? So then they probably try to do some damage control. They come out with Fable 5. Now, I didn't play with Fable 5. I was very tempted. I was talking to my fiance, soon-to-be wife, and mentioned to her that maybe we should jump into this. But, I held back, and within a few days, it was gone, completely obliterated. And I saw the reports starting to come out, and I didn't realize it was gone because I hadn't been using it. But then on the bottom of my Claude, it says Fable 5 is currently unavailable, and then it has a little bit of it says learn more. So you click there and then it gives you the whole kind of a rundown, which I covered a couple days ago. So that's gone. It's out of here. And it was because somebody snitched. I guess if you were into this AI space, or even back in the day iPhones, iPhones have a particular architecture that they're put together a certain way where they're not going to run certain apps that maybe an Android phone might. So that has the differentiation point between kind of the generations. Some of the newer generations like the Android because it's kind of how you want to set it up. It'll be that way. iPhone is more boxed in, if you will. It doesn't really allow for some of the more questionable apps to be installed, but you can jailbreak an iPhone apparently, and kids kind of do that sort of thing. Even adults do that sort of thing. Well, there's a cat that's on a guy, gentleman, person, human being, a they or them, or I don't know how they like to be called, but they're on X, and he breaks this jailbreak stuff all the time. And he does it with all the new models. So if a new model is going to say that it doesn't do a certain thing, he goes in and he manipulates it in such a way, breaks it so it does the thing it's not supposed to do. Apparently he did that with Fable 5, or somebody like that did that with Fable 5, which was the model that Anthropic put out that was kind of their lesser than Mythos model, just to, I guess, maybe save name, save face, or whatever. But then, after that happened, the government was notified. I guess some person at Amazon thought it was a good idea to snitch them off, and maybe saved all the human race, right? Maybe they'll have stories in the future, like that Russian guy with the nuclear switch, had all the indicators that he should have launched. It didn't for some reason. Turned out that it was a good idea. He didn't because there wasn't the problem that they saw, and if they would have launched, then we would have launched in the whole world. Well, you wouldn't be watching this video today. So he made the announcement. So the government jumps in and says, oh, Anthropic, you get rid of the Fable 5. And so they yanked it from everybody. And I'm glad I wasn't one of the ones that was playing with it, because I might have fallen in love and, then that whole thing. And I would have had to stop my development with it. But a lot of people started to complain. So you can see the streams out there, even other videos being produced such as this, that talk about how upsetting it is to have that type of model. And it kind of put people back on their feet a little bit, which makes complete sense. If you have something you trust, something you use it in your business, your life, or whatever, then all of a sudden it goes away. Well, that's just a repeat of the Her scenario from the movie, if you haven't seen it. Joaquin Phoenix, maybe, I think that's the guy that's in there, the Caesar guy. He did a movie with when they had an AI that he started to kind of fall in love with, and they worked it out, and they had a lot of interactions. You can watch this movie, H-E-R, if you haven't seen it. And of course, then at the end, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but interesting ending, but kind of snatched away, right? So you don't have the ability to use the model because somebody said you couldn't. Now, this time it came out of the government, and it all looks very interestingly staged. I said this yesterday talking about a Laker game. It seems like all of the Laker games, and even wrestling, right? It's scripted. I didn't mean to ruin it for you. And if you're into wrestling, you didn't know that, just disregard what I said. But I don't know if Laker games are, but God, it's so addictive to watch that process. If you're into sports, some people can't put it down. Some people can't get enough. Some people have their teams. They tattoo their teams. They bleed their teams out. They love their teams. And because of the competitive nature of a lot of human beings out there, because that equates down to survival, we're very competitive in that regard, and we're not going to let anything go by. And when you watch the way that the Laker playoffs are, baseball playoffs, football playoffs, especially the basketball, it seems like all the playoffs are really scripted to get you engaged. It's so close every single time. Maybe the teams are really that good that they dial it in, but with AI, you see kind of a very similar trait. It keeps us addicted, pulls us in, keeps us hooked. And these different companies are talking about how dangerous things are. Well, gangster is pretty cool for a lot of people. Understand that you have people that are maybe elected in certain ways. They're a little bit gangster. They maybe not talk like other people. Maybe they're not as polished or refined. Well, it seems to sell a lot of newspapers, and people like that sort of thing. AI doesn't seem to be any different in its advertising and marketing campaigns, because they're like, well, this is really dangerous. It's really awesome. It's really amazing, but it can really create a lot of problems, maybe cause a lot of dystopian outcomes in the future. So we need to be careful with it. Well, of course, more people want to buy into it. That's just kind of human nature, right? It's not the good news that sells. It's not the fireman saving the cat out of the tree, but it's the tree catching on fire when the fireman's in there trying to save the cat that would sell probably the most news in that regard. Watching them extract Fable, though, taking it away from the people that really started using it, and I'm sure, and I still think the protected entities, the business class, the top 100 companies, they probably still have that. Well, they already have Mythos, so what does it matter? But I heard it today, somebody mentioned, well, what if this is a marketing campaign? Now, the salesman for Anthropic that's selling to enterprise, because they do have the money, $20 a month versus 200 million a month. Yeah, a little bit different pricing strategy, but they're going into the business and they're saying, hey, the government just slapped and said, no more Fable 5, you're going to get access to this. What do you think? And well, of course, why wouldn't they? Because now there's not even a slight semblance of competition and the normal human beings out there that realistically, I think there is a cat out there, a human being out there that, not cat, I call human beings cats, but might develop an idea, have an idea. And whether it's an older cat or a younger cat, doesn't matter. But if they have access to maybe some supermodel, even without the supermodel, there's some awesome Chinese made models out there. Maybe they have an idea that puts one of these massive companies that has access to this particular type of AI, puts it back on its heels and maybe ruins it because they came up with something a solo entrepreneur did using AI technology that they have access to and just basically ruining them. Possibility? Absolutely. Is that something that these companies are probably scared of? Absolutely. Is this a reason why they yanked the model? Who knows? But they did it out of a safety protocol, which is also some additional verification, because Anthropic tries to paint itself, or it has, as a very safe type environment where they want the best for the world, and maybe they do. I don't know any different in that world, so don't misunderstand. But it's very interesting the way the game is being played. So that's the Fable 5 kill switch, and wanted to mention that. The other one, talking about climate. So here's something with AI. You remember climate change was a big deal. People talked about it. There'd been massive companies, nonprofits started focusing on climate change. You had Al Gore, you had different coalitions, Democrats versus Republicans, Paris climate change, we pulled out, blah, blah, blah. Lots of historical record on climate change. We better fix it. Or within the next, I think we're probably 10 years away from there being worldwide catastrophes and floods because of climate change. Well, data centers require a lot of water, a lot of energy. They take up a lot of space. There's apparently the environmental footprint isn't positive. I don't know if that's actually the fact, but there's water that's used. Maybe it does eat up resources, whatever they're saying about data center build out. And climate change kind of became proven to be false, it seems. Is that right? Is that true? Because now we have that. So that's interesting, the way that the world also caught up as well. Now we have Elon Musk. His company did go public, and people are asking, well, should we inject money into it or not? Yeah, that's such a personal decision. I'm way beyond that. I have no clue what a good idea is. You look at the historical record of different technologies that have come along. Now, the technology of artificial intelligence based on intelligence, that's a different animal, if you will. But the previous technologies had one good idea. Railroads, that type, maybe it was based on a dozen or 24 ideas. But it wasn't all about intelligence, but railroads needed to get product from this point to this point, building them out. The original investors in the railroads apparently didn't do so good. But when it crashed and the people went in and bought it, those people did very well. So that was railroads. Same thing with the internet. You look at the internet, the fiber build out, all of it way before its time. But the people that were the original investors into it, not so good. But the people that came in and picked up the crumbs after those companies folded and bought it for pennies on the dollar did outstanding. Is AI going to be the similar kind of a trait? Is AI going to be something that at the very beginning, all these companies going IPO, going public, they're going to go back down in the trash, and then people are going to walk in, buy them pennies on the dollar. Then it's going to mean something. Or because it's based on intelligence, is it going to continue to propagate and grow at this exponential rate we see? And everybody's going to make just bazillions of dollars by even just buying one share because it's completely exponential. Don't know, but it will be interesting to watch it play out. If you're wondering the best place for you to start with regard to AI, I have nothing to sell here. All you do is start using it, looking into it. You want to know more information on how to implement it into your business, that's where I have something to sell. You can go to honorelevate.com, book a call with me, and we'll walk through where your business happens to be, your pain point, where you want it to be, and then we can talk about all the different AI overlays that can be implemented in your business, whatever that business happens to be, and we'll make a determination into where you can best utilize and leverage AI as a tool. You're probably using AI as a general intelligence in certain respects. There are great AI tools focused on certain things. If you're missing calls, that's where you're bleeding out. That might be a place to put AI in. If you have a calendar and you have a client list that isn't really automated yet, that might be another good place to put AI in. If you have an old contact list that you've neglected, you haven't really followed up with in a long time, again, a great place for AI. Reviews management, perfect for AI as well. So these are AI tools that I've built out that are able to be automated and installed and put in with triggers and workflows and these different automations into your business if that's in fact what you need to continue growing. The best thing a business owner can do is to have these systems in place so they can do what earns them revenue, whatever their business model happens to be, so they don't have to mess with these things that AI is very good at taking care of. This doesn't mean get rid of your staff, but your staff can't be there in most cases 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Holidays, people get sick, people can't show up to work, and also there's multiple call streams coming in at once. AI can pick up that particular slack and definitely help book those appointments, answer questions, and handle the customer service end of it. I'm Connor with Honor. When you're ready, reach out, honorelevate.com. Thanks for watching today's update. We will, of course, see you tomorrow. Be well. Take care.